today's live training is about the oxygen that our Phoenix fire needs to sustain and grow stronger. So this is the third video in our three-part series of cultivating your Phoenix fire of transformation. This is the proven formula for upgrading your identity and becoming your bravest self, which is ultimately what your next best version is of yourself, right? This is the formula. We have the fire starter framework, which is the compelling vision, the bonfire blueprint, which is the strategic plan, and the support and accountability, the accelerant element. This is what we're talking about today, but the combination of all three of these create the Phoenix fire. Okay, and this is the formula that I developed over a 4-year period as I personally upgraded my life and was able to upgrade my body and heal myself of several stress-related illnesses. I felt sexier in my skin. I also upgraded my mindset from shame-filled and self-critical and a victim of my circumstances to empowered and confident and the hero of my own story. I also upgraded my financial situation from being broke as a joke with $15,000 worth of divorce-related debt and believing that I just could not survive as a single woman on my own to being completely debt-free and rewriting my relationship with money. To now, pursuing a career field that feeds my soul, to earning back my time, investing in myself to become a successful entrepreneur after 25 years of playing it safe and working for other people. So I've managed to incinerate self-limiting beliefs, destructive patterns and behaviors and habits, and reconnect to my authenticity so that I can attract more of what I want in life. And it all comes down to this blueprint for your bravest self, which is the formula that I share in this series. And I'll also be providing you with very valuable opportunity worth $150, absolutely free. So stick with me as I explain just how valuable that is. Okay, so today we are discussing the third element of the Phoenix fire, which is support and accountability, or what I like to call the accelerant element. Remember, oxygen accelerates the fire and breathes life. And we need this factor if we're going to breathe life into our transformation and keep it going. Because as we're pursuing our dreams, it's really easy for life to happen, right? And internal and external resistance factors will threaten to choke out your ability to follow through. And what good is starting a goal if we're not likely to complete it? Why would we put ourselves through that? I know I've done it many times, but I don't want to do it anymore. I want to be successful and I want to do things fast and efficiently. Are you with me? Can I get an amen in the chat comments? If you want to accomplish your goals quickly and efficiently, because that's all about what this is. Because here's the thing. According to the Association for Talent Development, people are more likely to be successful to their goals if they set up accountability measures. In fact, anywhere from 65% to 95% more successful, depending on what measures they choose. And I'm going to talk to you about this again later in this video as I discuss those measures. But what exactly is accountability and how do I set it up? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Accountability measures help you answer the question, how can I increase my return on investment? Okay, if you've never heard this term before, a return on investment is a term that I've used in the financial industry and the project management industry. And quite simply, ROI is the measurement of how much energy you get out of something that you are ultimately going to put energy into. Time, effort, and money are all measurements of energy. These are all ways that energy is expressed in our natural world: effort, time, and money. So ultimately, ROI measures how much output you get compared with how much input. And what do we notice about this curve? We want it to go up. We want our return on investment to go up. We want more effort, time, and money to come out of what we put in. That is the goal of ROI. And that's the goal of accountability. So when it comes to accomplishing your goals, this video is going to help you ensure that what you get should be greater than what you put in. It should be more than 100% return on investment. Because what's the point of living small? What's the point of trying to earn only enough to get by? Now, what's the point of surviving and not thriving? We deserve more for ourselves, ladies. So often we give and give to people around us and prioritize their needs above our own. But there will never be any shortage of people asking you for your time, effort, and money. But what about you? When will you start asking for your own time, effort, and money? Because when I turned 40 and realized that ignoring my own needs had cost me my health, my sanity, my dreams, my marriage, my happiness, I realized that I needed to make a change, and life is just too short to keep bumping myself to the bottom of that list. Only you can prioritize yourself. And when you do, your life is then flowing in alignment with the way that you were designed to be. Then abundance can open up for you. More energy, more money, more time, more happiness, more freedom, and best of all, more influence to inspire others to do the same. And that's what I want for you, because that's what this methodology did for me, and I know that it works. So let's start at the top with a common goal that I see during this New Year's resolution season. And I'll walk you through exactly how accountability works, how to set it up, and provide you with a free resource to ignite your personal Phoenix fire worth $150. So stick with me here, okay? So let me share this screen again. So first it starts with that vision, right? That's the first element of the Phoenix fire. Many women I talk to come to me in breakthrough sessions and say, I want to get in better shape. That's pretty broad, pretty broad and obscure. And that's why in my breakthrough sessions and my fire starter framework here that you can see as a part of my programs, that exercise helps us to get those big obscure goals a little clearer and more compelling as we just hone in and ask the right questions. So let's say that after you go through the fire starter framework and the breakthrough session, you get a little, you achieve that massive clarity and you create a clear and compelling goal, okay? And say that you achieve the same level of clarity that I achieved about 6 months or so after my divorce, when I was through grieving. Through the grieving process, I was fed up with my current circumstances and I was ready to do life differently. I was ready to change. And I decided that I wanted to lose 30 pounds. I wanted to get off all of the hypertension, acid reflux, pain medication. I want to get off all medications. And I wanted to get in better physical shape and fit back into my size 9 jeans. These were the jeans that I was wearing in college that I kept because they were my favorite. And I always promised myself that I would get back into them. This time I was like, no, this time it's real. I know exactly what I want. I'm done with this grieving process. I'm done with repeating these habits and patterns. I want to do this. And why do I want to do this? Because I want to be proud of myself. I want to become the hero of my own story. And this is ultimately going to benefit my kids because I'm going to have more energy, right? And I'm going to have more joy to have adventures with them. It's going to benefit my career because I'll have more clarity, more positivity, more energy to accomplish more tasks and earn more money, work my way up. And I will feel sexier and more confident in my skin and get the courage to put myself out there again and open myself up to dating again. Ooh, something that I really was not at a place to do at that point. But I thought down the road, if I can lose these 30 pounds, get off all the hypertension and acid reflux and pain medications, and get back into those jeans, I would be able to prove to myself that I could. And why was that important? Because I wanted to feel happier, healthier, and hotter than I've ever felt before. For the first time in my life, I wanted to feel what that felt like. And that mantra carried me because this vision was so clear, it was so compelling, and it was so attached to emotion. It carried me. But I wasn't going to succeed until I created a plan. And that's the second element of the Phoenix fire, right? The right steps in the right order. Now, I started with my physical fitness, and that's where I started, even though there was a lot of things blowing up around me in my life. I started with my physical fitness because getting off the meds, reshaping my body, encouraging my confidence level, that felt to me like the most urgent place I needed to start. It was the foundation, because our bodies are often the foundation for becoming successful in all areas of our life. But to accomplish this goal, I had to break it down into smaller chunks and identify specific tasks that work together, specific behaviors, specific habits, specific patterns. And this is where the fuel and the oxygen begin to commingle and work in tandem with each other. Remember, the next step is the bonfire blueprint. That's our strategic plan. Okay, these are the right steps in the right order. But in order to make sure that they stay relevant and they stay in the right order, we have to create accountability, because that oxygen blows onto that fuel and makes it stronger. If you take away the oxygen, doesn't matter how much wood or coal you throw in that fire, it's gonna go out. And so this is where those two elements really start to work together, and they work with that compelling vision that you create in the fire starter framework. So now it comes down to, how can I ensure a big return on my investment? This is the accountability factor. How can I ensure that I'm getting out more than I'm putting in? Okay, and we can achieve this with the 4 W's of accountability. These are the things that you need in order to create accountability in your goals. And those are the what, the when, the where, the who. Easy enough to remember, right? Easy. What am I going to do? What am I going to do to accomplish this? When am I going to do this? Where am I going to do this? And whose help do I need to accomplish this? So the first question is to ask yourself, what am I going to do? Okay, this is about deciding exactly what you want to accomplish for your goal. And it involves taking those bigger goals and chunking them into smaller action steps and tasks. So one of the smaller tasks that I can create from this big vision that I had of losing 30 pounds, getting off the meds, fitting into my jeans, is I want to start incorporating consistent exercise routine. I need to exercise. It's going to be more than just diet. There needs to be diet, exercise. There needs to be a lot of things that go into that. So I'm going to create those different tasks, but we're going to take one task for the purposes of this example. I want to start exercising consistently. But it has to be more than that. It has to be even more, because that's a start, but it's got to be even more specific. So I go down to, and I say, okay, how do I want to exercise more consistently? What do I want to do? And I ask myself that question over and over and over until I have something consistent. Well, I want to work out 3 to 5 times per week, because that's what, the health gurus say. And at least 30 minutes each time. That's a good place to start. That's manageable. It was not so scary, considering I'd been eating myself and drinking myself to death for the 6 months before that. So I wanted to start at a place that I felt was going to be achievable. Okay, that's getting better. But can we make it even more specific? Well, first you have to ask yourself, well, what can I do? What activities am I able to do? Is it reasonable to ask yourself to start running if you have knee problems? No. Is it possible to do a Zumba class if you have back pain or pain in your feet, which I was dealing with at the time? No. Now, it isn't impossible to do any of these things with the right accommodations and help, but for right now, let's try to create a goal, a task that we know we can accomplish. It's achievable. The second thing about that is we have to be really specific. It's one thing to say, oh, I'm going to work out in the morning for 30 minutes. And another thing to say is, I'm going to run for 30 minutes, or I'm going to do yoga for 30 minutes. Do you see how that's more specific? If I'm not specific, I may just, and I've done this, show up to the gym one morning, walk around, talking with people I know, maybe do a 10-minute bike ride, then jump on a 10-minute walking on the treadmill. Maybe they'd start messing with my phone during the workout, looking for other ideas until my time is up. So we need to know exactly what we're going to do before we start to do it, because self-sabotage will show up to distract, overwhelm, and talk you down every time. And that's why it's important really to assess what activities you can do first so that you have a list to choose from. And then before you even show up during that time slot, decide exactly what that's going to look like. Put each set, each rep, whatever activity it is, bring the list with you so you have something to say, okay, it's a checkbox, boom, 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 boom. And make sure it's something that you can track, keep track of your progress. While you do it, and, maybe even what I like to do, because I hate measuring reps and all that kind of stuff. That's just not me. I actually like to create tiny short-term challenges for myself. So I'm a challenge person. So when it comes to exercise, I would give myself little short-term challenges to accomplish the much larger goal of losing 20 pounds, fitting into my jeans, blah, blah. So for instance, I said, well, when I go home, I was getting ready to go home. I want to climb Cocoa Head. One time. That was my short-term challenge. I just want to get to the top of Cocoa Head. Doesn't matter what that looks like. I want to get to the top, and I want to not walk like grandma afterwards, like I did the very first time I tried to do it. So I said, okay, that's my short-term goal. What do I need to do here in Wyoming while I prepare for that? Well, that meant walking on a treadmill. So that was the kind of exercise I chose. So now my goal becomes, I want to walk on a treadmill 3 to 5 times a week for 30 minutes each time. Do you see how that's getting clearer and clearer and clearer? So climbing Cocoa Head, then that was my one measurable goal. I can then add climbing Cocoa Head twice in the same month. Whoa, there's my next goal. Climbing Cocoa Head every weekend. That moves up, because each challenge kind of activates on itself and moves me along. So now the next question I need to answer is, when am I going to work out? A lot of people are like, yes, no problem. This week, I'm going to work out 3 to 5 times. I'm going to do the treadmill 30 minutes each day. I will do it. No problem. But when? Because here is the truth. We have to create a legitimate schedule for an action step. This is super important. Calendars are more productive than to-do lists. I want to share this in this article that I found in Forbes magazine. I love this, which was, the title of the article was Why Millionaires Don't Use To-Do Lists. Okay, why millionaires don't use to-do lists. They listed these 3 reasons why millionaires don't use to-do lists. Number 1, to-do lists don't account for time. They aren't time sensitive. And because they don't account for time, they don't distinguish between urgent and important. And they just contribute to stress, because you just have this list constantly hanging over your head, and it just causes more stress. Instead, put it in your calendar. When an event is consistently scheduled in your calendar, it's much more likely to transform into an unconscious habit. I can't even tell you how many times I say I'm going to do something, but if I don't actually put a calendar invite for myself into my phone and block off the time to do it, something always gets in the way. Either I totally forget about it, because God knows I'm busy and I'm distracted all day, every day, or something more important might show up and take all that time. So another thing to consider, also in addition to when you're going to do it, is what time of day is the best for this activity. And especially if you're doing an exercise routine or you're starting a habit that's new for the first time, what time of day? When I first started working out, before I even enjoyed the idea of it, because let's be true, exercise wasn't something that sounded fun by any means. I had to decide what was the most practical time of day to be able to push myself to do something uncomfortable, because that's what it was. Exercise was going to be uncomfortable. And I could either choose to wake up earlier and do it in the morning before work, or I could choose to wait till after work. Now, truth be told, I was not a morning person. So although I would be best to do it. So I thought, well, I guess I thought at the time I would be best to do it after work. But then as I started implementing the habit, I noticed that I was exhausted emotionally and physically after work. And many times I would have projects that required me to stay late, which would totally mess up my ability to follow through with that plan. The only thing I could actually control in terms of a chunk of time was what time I woke up, which meant that I had to start waking up earlier. Not an easy task. If you're the type of person that has to set yourself 5 different alarm clocks on your phone in the morning because you have an unconscious habit of just reaching over and pressing the snooze button, you know what my life was like, okay? Before I could even consider scheduling a workout during that time period in the morning, I had to simply get used to not pressing snooze. Then I had to work my way into putting my alarm clock earlier and earlier and earlier. I didn't push myself to necessarily work out right away, just wake up and move around the house. Little by little, though, my body acclimated to the new sleep schedule. And little by little, I actually started enjoying waking up before the rest of the world. See, when I started enjoying waking up, I noticed that my sleep got even deeper at night, and I would prioritize going to bed at 9 p.m. every night because my body would just say, okay, go to bed now. And it would take me literally 5 minutes to get to sleep. And I slept deeper. And I, to this day, don't dream because I am able to go to sleep immediately. And I don't dream anymore because I was able to get the right amount of sleep for my body. I was able to fall asleep fast, stay asleep, and then wake up early. And guess what? No more sleep meds. Check that off the box of no more meds at that point. Pretty awesome. The third question, though, after you decided when, you decided what you're going to do, the third question you got to ask yourself to set yourself up for success is, where am I going to do this? Okay, studies show that when implementing a new fitness goal, people are more likely to stick to workouts at a gym rather than workouts they do at home. Why is this? What is the difference between doing your workout at a gym and doing your workout at home? Well, first of all, there are people at a gym. Humans have a biological need for belonging, and surrounding ourselves with people fills that need. This is especially true for women. When we join a gym or a new workout class, even if we are shy, even if we are an introvert like I am, we still tend to smile at people. And eventually we might talk with them, get to know their names, maybe make them new friends. And we always thank our instructors. That human connection increases our happy hormones. And it makes it so that we enjoy that time even more. Even if it was a crazy workout, afterwards, we're happy that we did it. We have that human connection. And we are also subconsciously more likely to push ourselves when people are watching us, because there's this natural sort of judgment that we feel and comparison and competitiveness. I am far more likely to run a little longer and a little faster if there's someone on the treadmill next to me doing the same thing. It's an automatic, it's a subconscious program. That natural negativity bias that automatically compares ourselves with other people is usually a curse, but can become a huge advantage if you lean into it in this way. Think about that. Now, second of all, second reason why going to the gym is different than doing it in your house, you paid for it. How easy is it to blow off something that's free, ladies? I mean, money is a form of energy, remember? We spend money on the things that are important to us, and we tend to treat things that are free like they're optional. How much more likely are we to succumb to the, it's too cold to get out of bed excuse when we know that our workout is free and in our living room, as opposed to that spinning class that we paid hundreds of dollars for at the gym? I noticed this in my own coaching practice. I actually did a study and tracked this 1 month, And I noticed that only 50% of people, 50% of the women in this group actually value my time when it's offered for free. And let me explain. Okay, so throughout the months of December and January, I was offering everyone in our group a free breakthrough call, which is a really powerful coaching exercise that helps everyone achieve clarity, strategy, and momentum for their next step. So they know exactly what they need to do. They have the energy and the clarity. It's basically the first part of igniting the Phoenix fire. It's a powerful exercise. Now, it's normally worth $150 because that's what an hour of my time is worth. Half of the women that I invited into these breakthrough calls took me up on the offer, only half, 50%. The other half that did schedule calls, only half of them actually showed up. Why is that? Why is it so easy for us to bail on something when it's free? Well, because subconsciously, if it doesn't take money, time, or energy, if it's free, it's not valuable. It's not worth it. In 2019, I had achieved a really good fitness level. This was a solid 2 years after my divorce, but I wanted to get to the next fitness level because I was really enjoying exercise, enjoying waking up. And so I signed myself up for a Spartan race. Now, I was not in the place to do a Spartan race. Okay, I could climb Cocoa Head, but my upper body, no, was not great. But it was a scary goal. And I had to pay for it. So there was some accountability that I set up for myself. People were counting on me because I also had to find a team of people to do this with. So I had friends that I asked to do this with me. I couldn't blow it off. So I created that people element and where we were going and what was doing. And I had 1 year to accomplish it. I knew though, I would not be able to do it in 1 year by just training myself, because I was notorious for starting and stopping consistent workout programs in the past. If I wanted to stay accountable to myself and reach my goal in time, I needed someone to hold my feet to the fire. I needed to be in a place where somebody missed me, where there was a human element holding me to the fire. So I joined a gym and I hired my first personal trainer. Knowing that he was waiting for me and had created a plan for me for that day made me push past the I'm too tired or it's too cold excuses every time they came up. And it made me get my butt out of bed because there was somebody that was counting on me. As a chronic people pleaser and penny pincher, if I'm honest, the thought of letting him down combined with the fact that I had paid him like $100 or something for the session was far worse than the pain of the workout that he was actually going to put me through, because they were painful. Let me be honest. After every session, though, I felt more confident in my abilities, and I was super proud of myself and my results, which leads me to the fourth question you need to answer for yourself. Whose help do you need to accomplish this? Okay, have you ever decided to start working out like just on your own at the gym? I've done this many times. I recognized I couldn't do it in my living room. So I would join a gym and then I would, maybe Google YouTube videos or do whatever research. And I often noticed that if I did that, I might push myself a little too hard. I mean, it's easy to do. You get there, you're super excited to start. You decided exactly what muscle groups you're going to be focusing on that day. You wrote down your plan. You're feeling good about it. You push yourself through it because the hot guy lifting free weights is giving you, just enough eye candy motivation that you need to rock those squats, right? But then the next day, you realize you may have gone a little too far. You are sore, and it's highly unlikely you will be going back to that gym, walking like a grandma in front of that hot guy for at least the next 2 days. I can't even tell you how many times this scenario has happened for me, way more than I care to count. And it always just gave me an excuse to quit on myself and then just feel like a failure. Now, when I made the decision in 2019 to compete in my first Spartan race, I knew I would not be able to get ready in 1 year's time without hiring a personal trainer to structure my workouts and push me. because I knew that if I did it myself, I would either not know the right exercises to do, or I would push myself too hard. So even though honestly, his workouts felt extremely painful pretty much every single time, and I actually dreaded the workouts themselves, the day after, though, was not nearly as sore as I thought it would be. Now, why is that? Because he knew exactly what steps to put in the right order and how to balance the exercises better, because he was specifically trained for it. With his help, I was able to push my limits farther and faster and more safely than I could have done on my own. And I'm proud of the progress that I saw. I saw major progress. I was able to get down to those size 9 jeans, and I saw the shape of my body change. Now, unfortunately, 2020 happened, which canceled the Spartan race, and then breast cancer, and then, yeah. But in the process, I still learned so much about myself, and I learned the value of the time and the guidance of a seasoned professional. See, there's a difference between an accountability partner and a success partner. Accountability partners are just someone that you tell your goals to. You know, you can put your goals on Facebook and make everyone in this group an accountability partner for you. You can invite your sister, you know, to join you even, but she's going to be doing her own thing while you're doing your own thing. But a success partner, that's different. A success partner intentionally walks the journey with you. They help you measure your progress. They use their expertise to strategize your action steps. And they coach you through obstacles and resistance as it arises. Remember how I said that accountability metrics can help you be more successful anywhere from 65% to 95% of the time? Well, this is the reason for the big spread in that number. Okay, here is the actual quote. Research has shown that publicly committing your goals to someone gives you at least a 65% chance of completing them. However, having a specific accountability partner, a specific one, increases your chances of success to 95%. And guess who that is? That's my personal trainer right there. He's some eye candy anyway, but let's be real. Okay, but this is what I call a success partner. A specific type of accountability partner that it increases your chances of success up to 95%. That's a much higher return on your investment. Now, another study in the corporate world studied companies, because there are a lot of companies these days that are hiring coaches for their employees to help their employees become better at their own jobs and more satisfied and increase productivity, all different kinds of things. Well, this company studied those companies, and they found that the return on investment of companies that used coaches was as high as 700% return on investment, anywhere from 5 to 700%. That means for every $1,000 that they spent on a coach for an employee, they got back $7,000 worth of productivity from that employee. That is huge. And it's pretty compelling argument for the support and accountability of a success partner. So Phoenixes, do you have a success partner for your big scary goals? Because if not, I want to offer you this free gift. Okay, so if you want to increase your chances of success up to 95%, earn 5 to 7 times more energy, money, time, and effort than what you put in, I encourage you to comment the word brave into the comment section, and I will personally send you a special link to set up a free breakthrough calls. These calls are no longer free going forward because of the accountability factor that I was running into. But if you would like to increase your chances of success, get that massive clarity and momentum and strategy for your next big upgrade, these calls, which are now $150, will be free to you if you comment the word brave and you mention this video, or you get your money back. If you just feel like it did not give you that level of clarity that was worth it, you will get your money back in full. So comment the word brave to take advantage of this special offer, and we'll get that set up. I'll send you a message via Messenger and we will get that set up. So ladies, this ends our series on the Phoenix Fire. And you have in front of you the recipe for success, the formula for becoming your bravest self. What are you going to do with it? Because I used to believe for a very long time, and was told throughout my childhood, knowledge is power. And I acted on that belief system pretty much my entire life. I have a boatload of certifications. But the truth is, action is power. Action is power. What are you going to do with this knowledge of the recipe for your success and the formula for your bravest self? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me by Messenger or send me an email at noi@phoenixover40.com. I am always here to help. As always, my name is Noi. It rhymes with joy. And I encourage you to be beautiful, be bold, and be brave. Phoenixes.